Hey everybody, Nick here, and today we're going to do a little disassembly and maintenance on this guy. This is a Benchmade 707 Sequel. This is a knife that I should have bought a long time ago. Actually, this is the very first high-end knife that I should have bought. What I mean by that is that way back when I was looking for my first high-end knife, I was looking for something. I'm just going to go ahead and drop the pivot here. I'm going to do a Benchmade disassembly, an axis lock disassembly that treats this basically like an integral knife. Actually, I'll come back to my story time later. But because if you start taking everything apart here, you're going to have these different liners, which are going to require you to take the liners off on both sides, remove the clip, and really, there's not that much to be gained by that. So what I'm going to do is just treat the liners and the scales as one continuous unit here with the stop pin in there. I'm just going to drop the blade out, clean the axis lock, washers and whatnot, get everything, spruced up that way, and then put the blade back into place here. It's a just more efficient way to do things, and it's just going to cause me a lot less pulling out of my hair. You can pull everything out. I've done that in prior disassembly videos, but for now, I'll just stick to this. And what I just did there is push the pivot straight through using this little Q-tip here. So now I have a pivot on a Q-tip, a lot like an elf on a shelf, and then I will go ahead and pull out the blade with its washers. We're good to go. Anyways, as I was saying, story time. When I was first looking to buy a really high-end knife, it came down to this or the Benchmade Emissary. I like the look of the Emissary a little bit more, and I like the steel of the Emissary a little bit more. At the time, S30V was just like, oh my God, high-end super steel. And so I was won out, the Emissary, that is, won out. But in retrospect, I think I would have been a lot happier with this little guy here, because I never did really love the assist on the Emissary. And although I like the blade shape a little bit better, I kind of like this knife maybe a little bit more. It's not a big deal, and, we all know how this story went. Now I am completely and totally and hopelessly addicted and buying just knives that, Nick back when would have just gone like, what the hell are you thinking, you idiot? Because at the time, like, oh my God, $170? Who spends that on a knife? Yeah. But anyways, so this is a knife, though, that my buddy Andrew sent to me, and it was like, okay, finally, should figure this out. Okay, so what I've done here, actually very quickly, is I've cleaned off the blade. I've cleaned off the two washers here, so these are in good shape. I have, I cleaned off the pivot. Now the last step is actually going to be to get in here and clean out the area where the washers skate, basically on the inside of the scales. To do that, I'm going to use some 90% rubbing alcohol. By the way, if you're ever curious about the tools I use in my disassemblies, I have an entire video about that. Just, look for knife disassembly tools, Shabazz or what have you. You'll find that. I'm just going to jam this Q-tip through here and just kind of drag it through the scales. And see, it picks up a little bit of gunk every time it goes through. And by doing this, I will end up with a clean inside part of the scales there, as we can confirm optically by looking at the inside of the scales there. And we are now actually ready to go. We're back into position. One thing I'm going to go ahead and do while I have access here is apply a little bit of lubrication to the axis lock itself. Because you see, the axis lock glides along this portion. Let's pull it back there. So what I'm going to do is apply a little bit of lube right here. Apply a little bit of lube right there, and then the same thing on the top, bottom, the inside there. And there we go. Oh yeah. See, already that's running just a little bit smoother, and then I'm just going to rotate the axis lock around a little bit here. Again, well, it's spinning freely, and that'll just get everything smoothed out here. You can see it's releasing a little bit of black gunk, which is just the sound of weakness leaving the knife. Sorry, that's a bad cliche. Pain is just the feeling of weakness leaving the body or something. Never bought that. But hey, whatever. Sure, it looks great on the wall of a gym. Moving along. So let's go ahead and put the knife back together. The process for this is maybe a little bit more fiddly. So, what we got to do here is, to start with, we're going to go ahead and use the lubrication here. We're going to put some oil on here. And what we're going to do is use the oil to stick the washer to the knife. Because, see, surface tension of this level of viscosity oil just keeps this washer in place. So we'll do the same thing over here. I'm going to put a little bit on the inside of the knife as well. Keeps that in place. There you go. Bam. Now, in an absolutely perfect world, here's what I'll be able to do. I'm going to take this little guy. This is a watch spring bar tool. And it is about perfectly sized to slide through this, this hole here. What I'm going to do here, what I'm going to try and do at least, is to slide this through in such a way, and slide this right into this area here, in such a way that when I let go, the knife is perfectly, the washers are perfectly in alignment. Then I'm going to go ahead and just slide this pivot tool here right through the middle. Right through the hole in the center of the washers there. You got to be careful because the axis lock is definitely in play here. So now I've just got gravity holding things in position. Come on. Okay, this is slightly out of alignment, but this is savable. I'm going to use the tip of that there. Hey. Okay, now the dream is that I'm through the washer on the other side. I am. So now what I have is a straight shot through the knife here. This is great. Next step is going to be to apply the, this is a D-shaped pivot. Which direction does it need to face? Ah, crap. Which direction does it need to face? Which side is even D-shaped? What I'm saying here is that there is a flat surface on this pivot here, and that usually goes with a flat surface inside of the knife, and by God, I cannot find that flat surface. That's weird. Oh, no, that's it. So the D shape on the pivot needs to face directly down. So, okay. But next step, now that I've got this through here with the washers in position, sorry, I'll try and keep everything on the screen here. Knock this over. There were many times in my life where it would be advantageous to be an octopus. This is among them. A couple of extra arms would absolutely make my life easier here. Lubricating that, perhaps too well, but that's okay. Come on, piece of cloth. Do not fight me. I'm at the top of the food chain. You're a piece of cloth. All right, there we go. Technically, I'm vegetarian. It won't respect me. But all right, moving on. So I'm going to try and lift this basically and then slide the pivot right on through here. My dream is that I will be able to progressively skewer the parts of this guy. Okay, so right there, I've just felt the pivot slide through and hit the D shape. That's good. Next step is going to be to get the washer into position. And so I'm just kind of slowly pressing down on this guy. Come on, there we go. The goal here is to now skewer the washer. Is the washer in position? No, it is not. So what I'm going to do is move, using my thumb, the axis lock back here. Oh, yeah. So, okay, what just happened is that I slid through the first washer as well as through the blade itself, leaving behind the only thing remaining is this other washer here. And so all I have to do now is move this little washer using this little tool here a little bit to the side, apply a little bit more back pull to the axis lock, applying pressure with my index finger. I almost made that look good. Alrighty, so at this point in time, this is entirely reassembled, and that, God dang, that looked easy. I'm happy about that. Has about a 50-50 chance of making me look like a wizard or an idiot. Today was a wizard day. Well, at least this part of today. No doubt I will sit down and do something shortly which will make me feel like an idiot again. But the thing is, generally in my experience, when you feel like an idiot, that's good. Because usually the people who are actually idiots don't ever feel like it. That's a big part of the problem, actually. All right, so right now it is way too tight, the pivot that is. So what I'm going to do is back this guy off. I just applied a little bit of blue thread locker to this. It's a Loctite stick here. Okay, that's nice. That's blade play. All right, got to tighten this up a little bit more. Okay, that was way too tight. Let's try this again. Little tiny detail. There we go. Is that a little bit of play? I just don't know. this is on a razor freaking margin here. I am making, I mean, seriously, watch the letters on the top of this driver. That's the kind of adjustment I'm making here. It's a little too tight still. That was way too much. Oy, oy, oy. Now I got play. All right. Don't hate the play, I hate the blade. Is this doing that same thing? It is. This is doing the same thing as the Pardue. We're pulling the axis lock back. Actually, it starts to deploy the blade. Interesting. All right. So at this point, there is no play. Deploys reliably-ish. I'm going to try and loosen this slightly more. That will introduce blade play in all likelihood. A lot smoother suddenly. No, there's no play. Great, okay, now I'm going to not screw with this. And the reason I'm not going to screw with this is just because I want the Loctite to set here. Loctite thread locker stick here is, let's see here. Does it give the curing time here? Oh, of course not. But it's something like, you know, it's at most strength within 20 minutes and more within 20 hours or 24 hours, something like that. Whatever it is, I want this pivot to get into good position here without me messing around with it. The final thing that I'm going to go ahead and do is just apply a little bit of lubricant to the tang of the blade right here. The reason is that's where the axis lock bar is sliding, and it slides along the back too. So I'm going to give this one more kind of very gentle cycle there to distribute that along there, and we are all set here. There you go. Beautiful. Alrighty, now to let this little guy cure, and, well, there you go. Hope this is interesting to you. Have yourselves an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.